What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Night of the Demons 3. So I got the DVD here. It's a beautiful cover. I really like the cover for this one. The colors are just popping. She's got that like bright blue drink going on with the eyeballs. I like the actual like the title. It's like that yellow and green. You got the back with this cool skeleton hand. So yeah, I think the cover for part 3 rules. You got a lot of glare going, but yeah, it's a beautiful cover. So yeah, pick this up on eBay. It's like a Canadian DVD. You got some good old French on there, as well as the English. So yeah, I guess this is actually like a Canadian film. That's what it said on Wikipedia, so it makes sense. Yeah, so picked that up on eBay, got it cheap. This one is this one's part 3 is harder to find. The first film and the remake, they're on most streaming services. Part 2 you can rent pretty easily. Part 3, I mean, not only is it out of print, you can't really rent it anywhere online. Like, I don't really think you can rent it on Amazon, so had to pick up the DVD. But yeah, it's fun. I like, collecting DVDs, Blu-rays, all that. So, I mean, if I could just like watch it on streaming, that's cool. Cause I got a lot of clutter going on. I'm trying to be a minimalist. I'm about to be a Buddhist. I'm about to just I'm about to just chill. I'm about to be a monk. I'm like, if a beautiful young lady comes up to me, I'm gonna be like Vincent Gallo with it. I'm gonna be like, please don't touch me. I need to meditate. But I'm not even joking. I do like meditate a lot. But anyways, I pretty much am like monk mode right now. I've been like straight edge for the past couple weeks. I didn't even plan it, but I've been like low key, just like I inadvertently, accidentally did like sober October, but it's only been a couple weeks, so I can't. I don't want to. Like, talk is cheap, deeds not words. You gotta just. I don't want to be like, oh, I did the whole month, but it's only been a couple weeks. But anyways, let me focus here. So, Night of the Demons 3. What do I think about it? Honestly, I thought this was decent. Like when I initially looked this up, I think I was looking up like the runtime or something, or I was like looking into purchasing it, and I like came across some headlines that said like, oh, this movie is terrible, hard to get through. I think it was like on Reddit or something. So I don't know how credible that is. I mean, sometimes people on Reddit are cool, but sometimes there's some knuckleheads on there. But anyways, I went into this movie thinking it was gonna be terrible, just like super low quality, like just bottom of the barrel, direct to video movie. But honestly, like I said, I had a decent time with it. Is it as good as part 2? Absolutely not. I mean, it's definitely a big step down from part 2, but I was like, like I said, I did not hate this movie by any means. I thought it was I thought it was all right. But anyways, now that I've given you all my little my overall opinion, I'm going to jump into a quick plot summary. So the movie focuses on this group of bad kids, and they're riding around town in a van, and there's these 2 girls, Holly, who she's like the head cheerleader of the school, and her friend Abby, who's this like super shy girl. They're trying to go to this school Halloween dance, but their car breaks down, so this van full of like delinquents picks them up, and Abby's like all for it. She's like, yeah, let's go, let's get a ride from them. So I mean, it is a terrible idea. You don't hitch a ride with the juvenile delinquent kids. Like the one kid, Vince, like he's straight up nuts. Like right off the bat, I thought he was crazy, but he gets crazier and crazier as the movie progresses. But anyways, um, so now you got this group of the bad kids in the van, and then you got these two girls that they picked up, and basically this guy Vince, he's like, all right, stop over here at this gas station. I got to get a pack of smokes. And they all go in the gas station, and there's this one guy who's with them, Reggie. He's trying to buy beer with his brother's fake ID, and the store clerk is not having it. He's like, "This is clearly a fake ID. This is BS. I'm not gonna serve you the beer." And the Reggie and Vince, they keep going back and forth with this store clerk, and eventually the store clerk's just not having it. He whips out a shotgun, and then like immediately Vince disarms him, steals the shotgun, and he's holding this kid Vince, who I said earlier he's like crazy. He's now holding the store clerk at gunpoint, and it's terrible timing because some cops walk in right after, and then it just impulsively, like on a whim, Vince turns around and shoots one of the cops. So for the rest of the movie, directly following these events, all the kids, they're trying to flee the scene. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, Reggie, the kid who was trying to buy the beer, he got shot. So basically, Reggie is in the back of the van, bleeding out. Everyone's like, let's go to a hospital. But since Vince shot a cop, he's like, no, we got to go hide out. So they're driving, and they decide to go hide out in Hull House. And once they're there, of course, they awaken Angela, and Angela starts possessing them and killing them. So that is the basic plot summary. I'm gonna jump into some stuff that I liked first. So right off the bat, the overall story I liked. I liked how the story in this, it was like it was unique. It was different from part 1 and 2. It still had it still had it was similar, where you got a group of kids, they go to Hull House, they're getting possessed, but I like the setup, like the inciting incident was different. Like I liked the whole crime angle, and this kid robbing the convenience store, and then they're on the run. Like this movie had more action elements going on, and I was really invested in the story because initially, like the first, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of the movie, I'm like, this movie might suck. I don't know if I'm going to be into it. But like once that happened, where Vince held up the gas station, I keep going back and forth, convenience store, gas station, same difference, whatever. But once Vince held up the gas station and shot the cop, it was like the movie went from 0 to 100, and it was just like a thrill ride after that. I mean, there were peaks and valleys, but I mean, it was after he robbed the gas station, it was pretty action packed. So I liked the story. I liked the crime angle, the crime elements. Also, I liked in this when the teenagers get possessed, they all turn into different demonic entities. Like in the previous films, when someone gets possessed, they generally all kind of have a similar look. In this, like the design of the design of the characters, once they turn into these demonic entities, it's different than the previous films, and just from character to character, it's unique. So the one girl, what's her name, Abby, turns into this like cat demon, and then there's this one girl, she turns into this snake demon, and her hand turns into a snake. And there's one kid, Orson. He's kind of like the nerd, and he's like wearing this devil mask throughout the movie. He gets turned into like this demon that is like this like red demon with horns that's reminiscent of the devil. So I really like the design of the demons in this, and the makeup wasn't as good as part 2, but I thought that the design of the actual characters, the design of these creatures was super unique and different than the other movies. So like I didn't mind if the makeup was like slightly not as good. So yeah, that's like mainly what I wanted to touch on for likes. Now I'm gonna get into some random points. So yeah, for this point, I wrote in my notes, Angela is still a freak. I talked about that in my previous review, that like in part 2, Angela would possess people, and kind of like there would like be like a sexual aspect to how she would possess people. In this, there's not as much of a sexual aspect when she's initially possessing people, but she's still like a very sexual character. Like there's like Orson is supposed to be keeping guard and watching her, so he's just like pointing a gun at her face, and she proceeds to perform fellatio on the gun, and then she basically like sucks all the bullets out of the gun. So yeah, she's still very sexual being. So yeah, I kind of like that, because that was like a fun element of the second one, where it was kind of like a weird, wacky element of the movie. It's like, I mean, it's just kind of fun. Like when you see it on screen, when she's filleting a handgun and then sucks the bullets out, it's kind of interesting to watch on screen. It's like I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm here for it. That's cool. Definitely memorable. So I like that. Another WTF moment that I have is I talked about Reggie getting shot. There were like so many instances where it would cut back to Reggie, and he got shot in the stomach, which is supposed to be like a very painful, long, drawn out way to die. But like it kept cutting back to him, and he would still be bleeding out, and he was still alive. And I kept thinking, I was like, how is this motherfucker still alive? Like, I understand if you're shot in the stomach, it's gonna take a long time to die. But like this kid, he was holding on forever. Like homeboy was like invincible. I'm like when, like I didn't want him to die. I wanted him to survive. But I'm like, when is he gonna, like, is he gonna like die already? I'm like, did he even really get shot? Like they must have missed every internal organ. It must have like skimmed him, but it didn't skim him, because he was suffering. He was bleeding out. But I'm like, man, he's a fighter. He was just like, this kid would never die. I'm like, like every time it cut to him, I'm like, he's still alive. Like this guy's still around. So I thought that was kind of funny that yeah, Reggie just, I mean, bleeding out forever. I mean, it's movie time, so it's different than real time. But like me watching it as you know, like in real time, I'm like, this guy's. Well, actually, real time would be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my perception's off. I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. But basically, Reggie never died, and it was kind of funny. Well, I mean, like, not that he never like died. He did like die eventually, but you know, it just took a long time for him to, you know, he was like bleeding out forever. But anyways, that's all I have for my WTF moments. Now I'm getting into some dislikes. So one of the main things that I disliked about this movie is the look was way worse than part 2. It was extremely grainy. Like, I got this on DVD, but it was like, I mean, it wasn't VHS quality, but it wasn't that much better than VHS quality. Like, it was very grainy. Once I was like 10-15 minutes in, I got used to it. But yeah, this movie, it's not as sharp as the previous entries. Also, the acting was a lot worse. Um, yeah, like, I don't know. It was just off. Like initially when I like first turned on the movie, I immediately just had this feeling that like the acting was not, it was not on par with the previous films. It was just it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like laughably bad, but the acting in this definitely was like a step down. Um, Also, this movie had a slightly less comedic tone, in my opinion. It was more serious. It was more of this like action suspense movie. It was more of like a straight horror film. There was quite a bit of comedy. Like, sometimes when people would get possessed, they would be like cracking one-liners, and there was this whole running thing where they were all saying "yo mama" jokes to each other, and the one kid, Orson, once he gets possessed, like, he's like this like devil looking demon, and he's cracking yo mama jokes still, so that was kind of fun. So there is some comedy, but I feel like the the part two had that perfect blend of horror and comedy. It was almost uh, like the way it had like a seamless blend. It was almost like, like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, where it was like a perfect blend of not too much comedy, just right. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. This movie, I feel like, tried to be more serious and didn't have as much comedy, but it didn't, I don't know, for like this movie, it would have been, it kind of would have worked if they went crazier with the comedy, because I mean, it's like a lower budget effort. Like, they could have got weird with it. It was like direct to video, but overall I still liked it. Like I said, I really did like all the action elements of the story, but it was just less comedic than the previous entries, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, like, it still fit with the first two movies, but the tone was maybe slightly more serious. But anyways, yeah, that's the last thing I have for my dislikes. So now I'm gonna jump into my recommendation, and then I'm gonna head out. So, in terms of a recommendation, I thought it was decent, but here's the deal. You can't really find this movie online. You can't really like easily rent it for a couple bucks. Like, the pretty much the only way to watch this movie is to buy the DVD, which is like $10 or something like that, $15. So even though I thought this movie was okay, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I don't think it's worth paying for. Like, if you could watch it online for free and you're a huge Night of the Demons fan, you're completist, watch it. But overall, for like general listeners, I would say this movie is not bad, but definitely skip it. Don't pay like $15 for it. It's not worth it. So that has been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Night of the Demons 3. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.